Hiya.
Thanks so much for all your questions. The response was awesome.
Very awesome. Heaps of questions, quite a few common themes, so hopefully we're going to be able to answer all of your questions right here, right now. Let's
go. All right, first question. What is the #1 thing you wanted to achieve by building your own house?
Ooh.
Who wants to go first? You start.
I think the first thing was the section, absolutely beautiful section, and wanted to create something that worked with the section and not against it, but also been looking around a lot for houses and realised we could actually build something that fitted exactly what we wanted for more or less the same price as you would get for a house that you had to do up. So I think it's probably the main thing.
Because for us, we really wanted like nice kitchens and nice bathrooms and things like that, and for what we could afford in terms of just buying a house outright, we wouldn't have been able to get nice kitchens, or nice kitchens, plural. We wouldn't be able to get the nice kitchen and bathroom, so it kind of meant that, yeah, if we were building, then we could get what we wanted and make it how we wanted. So that was probably the main thing. Cool.
Absolutely. Next one.
You read it.
This is fun. I haven't seen these yet.
No, I know. We probably should have read them before.
As a person just starting out, what advice would you give to them that they need to know about starting out in the property market? Wow.
Probably just getting a feel, first of all, for what areas you like, and then understanding what the average kind of prices are, because we knew the areas that we liked and soon found out that we probably couldn't afford to live in those areas, and that's why we decided to build, because we did know that if we were able to get a section at a good price, then we probably could get into that area that we wanted. Because I think outright we wouldn't have been able to afford to live in Custom Bay.
And I think the main thing, just chat to a lot of people. The more people you talk to, the more information you get and the more understanding you'll get of how things work and what to do. Yeah,
even just look on Trade Me or go to auctions and just see in that area that you want to go in and actually see what's achievable, and if it's not, just move to the outskirts a little bit maybe.
Next one.
Okay, can I read it?
Yep.
Oh, it's huge. What was the order of approach? For example, what did you do and who did you secure first, second, third, etc., so that the consents and designers and tradesmen and rocks, etc., were all rolling out in the correct sequence? Or as a math teacher, would you say, show us your working? I like the math teacher part. I teach maths. Sequence, what do we start with?
No real formula. We designed the basic house ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that started first.
Then we asked the builder, basically.
Yeah, got a builder on board, and then
asked if what we wanted to build would be suitable for the site. That was kind of before we even wanted to investigate it further. We're like, could you build a house for this amount on a site like this? And
then you only need really basic plans, a footprint pretty much for your resource consent. We needed a resource consent here because of the beautiful setting. So we had enough with what we'd already done there. And then really the next step was to get progress those drawings with an architect to enable us to get building consent.
Yeah.
And then, really just working in conjunction with our builder. The guys there are acting as the main, I guess, sort of foreman, and they're arranging a lot of the contractors, and we're just going back and forward with them with some of our own suppliers, and it's all working out hunky-dory.
And for resource consent as well, like because of our section and the water and the stream, like we had a lot of different hoops that we had to jump through as well. So basically when you know your site, and what was that called, like the property file or something?
Yeah.
Then you kind of know what you actually have to get in place for resource consent, and these contact numbers and everything like that. So,
first tip, go and chat to the council. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do, what you need to look out for, and you get them on your side.
Good side.
Yeah. Best thing we ever did.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one. As you can see, I sport a beautiful pink.
It's mine.
Pink case. Oh, and I even know.
Do you know my password?
Kylie's password. Look at that.
Right.
Okay, right back in the beginning, you had to orientate your house on the site and work out which room was where, had what kind of windows, and now that you've moved on with your build, do you have any regrets or think any room is in the wrong place or has too many or too few windows? Good question.
Good question.
As you can see, we don't have too many windows here right
now. we might have made a mistake, we don't actually know.
No, I mean, we're pretty confident. The section kind of lent itself naturally to orientate it a certain way and look in towards the bush rather than sort of towards neighbours and things like that. So at this stage, it's all looking pretty good.
We hope so. And we also wanted to make sure it was orientating towards like north, so that the sun, everything, and luckily north was where the bush was, so
yeah,
kind of worked out good. But yeah,
check back in about 2 months' time.
Hopefully we can say it went well.
See if we're still on track, but pretty confident.
I think it's a good idea to plan all that stuff out though, because I think when we first did our drawings, they might have changed just slightly, like the layout of the bedrooms and stuff. But if you start doing them and then just keep doing them and doing them and doing them again until you actually need the proper ones, then you kind of get pretty good at it. I think if you started out straight away just for resource consent or building consent, it might be a bit stressful, but we had drawn like hundreds of pictures of what our house would look like inside. So
and visually walk through each room like this. Pretty much. Well advisable. Or, heard a really good tip the other day, is actually go down to a beach and measure it all out and mark it in the sand, and you can actually walk through it and get a really good sense of sort of size and everything like that. Really good idea. We should have done that.
We should have done that. That would have been good.
Rightio, next one. There's so many of these, I think we're...
We are in the process of renovating our existing home, slowly. We have hit a few walls, mostly lack of motivation recently. My question, do you have any tips to keep motivated on the job? I just don't see an end in sight. Know that feeling?
That was one for you.
What's really kept us motivated? I guess just for us, because we're not on the site every time we come and visit, that helps to make us get motivated and see the tiny little things that have been changed and improved on the section. But I don't know, for me, Pinterest is really motivating because we've got like a...
Kylie likes shopping a lot.
Yes, that's probably the best motivation.
So I think that keeps her motivated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's probably been quite helpful. And we kind of have the theory that by the time the house is built, we're not actually going to be able to afford to furnish it with nice things. So while we aren't paying the highest mortgage in the world, we've kind of just been buying bits and pieces. And that just kind of gets you excited every time you buy something, if you like shopping, like me.
But the other thing is, just remember, you're going to get there in the end, and the end result is absolutely brilliant. I know many times, including on the block, just mind-numbingly boring, mundane tasks. You get there, put your mind to it, and you'll be amazed at the results. So keep at it, and I'm sure your home will look spectacular.
Always gets there in the end.
Next one. Who won on the final decisions? Did you have to pull out paper, scissors, rock?
We do paper, scissors, rock all the time, but probably not for the house.
No.
I
don't think
we haven't really disagreed on much. Yeah. No. But if we have kind of, I wanted something, he wanted something, I think we pretty much, rather than because I would not have settled with him winning. No. I think probably just like writing a pros and cons list even of your ideas, or like he might want something and then he'll talk about it and I want something, and then as long as you can justify it and it's going to be the best thing, then But we're pretty lucky that we like all the same things, I guess.
So far, so
far. Touch base soon. We'll see.
Rightio. What advice would you give to those who would also like to build their dream home, and also how not to kill each other in the process? What tips would you recommend for those wanting to manage the build themselves rather than go with a building franchise?
So start with the first part. What advice would you give to those who also like to build their dream home?
It's all the same thing, and not kill each other in the process.
Yeah. Probably, like we had a Pinterest board and we just pinned so many different ideas of what we liked. Yeah. And that was like before, I think we found a section maybe? I don't even know. I think we found a section and then found all these cool ideas. And that kind of helped us to be like, okay, cool, we actually really like cedar homes and we like these kind of lines.
And things
like that. And then it kind of developed into what we wanted as our dream home, because we had like a visual representation of what we wanted. Yeah.
And then in terms of like sort of managing your own build yourself,
that's what he's done.
It's a lot of time. It's really enjoyable and really satisfying as things sort of happen, and just ask a lot of questions to people, and you'll be really surprised at how much they're willing to help you. You know, we've spoken a lot to engineers and geotech guys and builders and things like that. So, and the council, have a really good chat with the council sooner than later, and they'll be really, really helpful.
It does require a lot of time though. Like, you're lucky because you run your own business, so you can kind of make calls throughout the day. But if you do have a normal 9-to-5 job, it might be quite hard to sneak away some of those calls.
And find a builder as well that you really trust. We're lucky, had worked with our builders before and trust them inside out and got a really good relationship there, and that helps because
they basically, like, you, if you want a home, you don't have to just get like a normal, what are they called,
like
building franchise.
Yeah.
You don't have to use a building franchise. Like, I'm pretty sure if you didn't want to be so hands-on, we could have given our builder our designs and things like that, and he could have managed the whole thing. So it's not necessarily a building franchise that you need to use. You can use all your own ideas and get your builder and architect and the whole team to bring it to life, really.
And now that we are building, our builder is actually doing, well, does a lot of the management, coordinates all the tradies and things like that, so definitely the way to go from our point of view anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's more unique.
Yeah. Next one.
How did you approach the bank with your plans to borrow on a new build? Has it been easy? Where do you begin?
You?
I can't even remember, it was so long ago. I guess in the beginning it was quite hard because it's quite different to just borrowing for a house, an existing house. You do need a 20% deposit.
I think more hard in your head than in actuality. I think we just didn't really understand so much around a section and heard a lot about banks not wanting to lend you as much on some land.
Which they do, but as long as you've got a sizable deposit, then it seemed to be fine. And we kind of knew what we were able to spend possibly overall, and then we found out from the bank, is it 20% on a section?
It was just as soon as the loan to equity ratio came in, limitations, and we were only had 20% we could put to the section, but I don't know. I think the best thing is just go and chat to your bank or chat to
Kiwibank.
I mean,
they were the best people we talked to.
Existing relationship with Kiwibank, and they've been fantastic. So chat to your bank, chat to Kiwibank, and they'll help you through the journey.
And they tell you what, like, this is the maximum that you can spend, and this is how much you need. Because like those things we didn't know either. We had to meet with someone, and then it kind of told us what we could, what we couldn't do.
It's a lot less scary than you think. So
and there's no pressure. Like, you can go and meet with someone and talk them through it, and you don't have to do anything about it for 6 months if you don't want to. It's just to be informed, because ordinary people don't know that information, and we didn't know that information until we sat down and chatted through everything. So
hardest part is starting.
Rightio,
this leads us into the next one, which is budgeting, and there's a lot of bullet points on this one. So maybe just hit them quick fire.
Are we that good at budgeting?
Quick fire, here we go, budgeting. This is all under the section of budgeting. Back and forward, here we go. I'm going to ask you a question, and then you do it. What tips do you have for sticking to budget when building your first home?
Probably writing up a budget list from the very beginning has been quite good. Like, you had an Excel template basically and did the estimated cost of what we thought it was, then our builder did his ones and add them on, and like just checking that, and if anything goes over, fixing that again is kind of important.
Pretty much, you're not going to know the actual cost of your build until that building consent has gone in and you know all the fine details of what your home's about. If you want to stick to your budget, from that point on, don't change your plans at all. You're going to have a fixed contract with your builder, highly recommended, and it's pretty much the easiest way to get your mortgage as well. So fix that in with a builder, and don't change your plans, and you'll stick to your budget more or less.
And that's what we've done. We haven't changed anything. So
next one.
How do you stop costs creeping where you keep having ideas that change the original cost of design?
I think on that one is be really certain from the start that the plans that you're getting put through to building consent stage are exactly what you want. I mean, we spent ages just going back and forward, heaps of iterations ourselves, mapped it out, knew exactly what we wanted.
Even like materials for what we wanted for our kitchen and our tapware and everything. Like, we researched all that stuff before even getting building consent, so we knew what we were in for. Because things like tapware, like thousands of dollars if you want good stuff. And so it's just having everything kind of researched before you get into it. It's a
lined
good
up
idea.
along the way.
Yeah, and even like stairs, like if you want to, because we want a fancy staircase. So even looking into stair companies and seeing what that's going to cost for the stairs that you actually want is quite important.
Yep.
All the little details.
All the details. What can you compromise on, and what is something that there is no way you could compromise on?
Don't compromise on your kitchen or your bathroom or your flooring.
Yeah, I think also though for us, like building new, is you got this opportunity to create the structure from scratch, and you're never going to get that chance again. So for us, we really want to do a lot of detailing outside as well. So we've got a lot of cantilevers and really nice, I guess some people would say extravagant features, but it's something you'll never get to do again. And
even like the cedar cladding, like recladding a house is, I can imagine, it's not very fun. So we made sure that we got like a good top of the line kind of product. So yeah, all those things that are important for you personally, and also for like the resale of a home in years to come, those kind of things are what you want to make sure you spend the money on and don't compromise on. I guess it's the interior that we should be compromising on, but I don't want to.
It's really hard, you get so invested into it.
Yeah,
but,
and there's always something better or something new that you find out about, but yeah, I guess those things you just have to
live with.
yeah.
Rightio, next one. Is your budget realistic, and are you sticking to it? What tools are you using to manage your budget for the build?
Our budget is realistic because we did a lot of research. I think a lot of people don't realise I didn't realise how expensive things were going to be. I think if you did kind of have
things like steel,
yeah,
you know, these things are really expensive, but it means we can build the things that we want to build. I don't know, probably proportionally how much of the costs are actually hidden in a way that they're under the house, they're in the walls and things like that. But yeah, our budget is, I mean, it's realistic, but let's be honest, it's certainly
there's always
not
things.
the cheapest build in the world.
No, it's not.
And it's going to push us to our max in terms of servicing it for the next 2 or 3 years, but see the opportunity in the, you know, it's our home we're going to live in for, you know, for the foreseeable future.
You're never going to lose on building your own home as well.
I don't think so, no.
Do well out of it. So.
Yeah, and so the main tools we use really is an Excel spreadsheet between ourselves and our builder, because we're managing different aspects of the budget, and just a really good dialogue back and forward with Ray and the guys.
And getting quotes from people yourself as well as your builder going and getting quotes as well can be quite helpful, because we've just been doing that all along, like down to very fine details, even like doorknobs and things like that. You know, you put them into the budget very early on and you have an idea about what you can afford, so it doesn't blow out.
Yeah. And probably one thing is, it's really tempting to want to rush things along. I mean, we've been wanting to get things faster and faster, but in actual fact, if you sort of looking back, the more time you spend in the planning stages and actually nailing all of those details before you go and submit your plans to the council, then the actual costs are going to be pretty much what you expect them to be, and things are going to go a lot smoother in the actual construction phase as well. So really spend time in the planning stages and don't get tempted to try and just rush things through and make things do. Next one, what proportion of the total budget do you put towards each room, and timing wise, how do you manage all the tradies? Well, I'll answer the last bit first, maybe.
Tradies manage themselves.
Tradies really, that's over to our builder, Ray. He's pretty much the foreman on the build, and he's coordinating when all these guys are scheduled to come in and things like that.
That'd be really hard to manage yourself.
Yeah, and it's a real sequence, you know, when something happens, something else has to happen to enable something else to happen. So, honest recommendation.
If it rains, then that person's out a week, that person's out 2 weeks.
Yeah. Recommendation though, leave that to the professionals, leave that to the tradies. If you're trying to project manage things yourselves, there's different aspects you should focus on and let the guys do that. But in terms of proportion of total budget to each room, it's a bit different because from scratch.
Well, we kind of also, like, we've got one guy who's actually doing a lot of like the bench tops and the cabinetry and all of like our bathrooms, kitchens, our wardrobes, even a piece under the TV and stuff. So that's kind of made it Oh, the total budget. That's right.
Yeah.
So that kind of isn't like bathroom only this much. Like it was kind of like, okay, cool. We knew that this round cost that we got from Dean, so many names to remember, that was kind of going to cover all our main points, and that was kind of fine. And we were like, okay, that sounds.
And it's also it's a bit different when you're building as well from scratch than renovating, because pretty much it's almost viewed as a square meterage rate. I forget the exact sort of breakdowns, but $2,000 a square metre, $3,000, $4,000, depending on your finishes and that. So it's probably more a calculation that way than actually, for us, we didn't portion anything out by room.
No.
But if we were going to scrimp anywhere, we wouldn't be scrimping on kitchens or bathrooms or exteriors. It's, probably far more of the things we could touch up later on down the track.
And we kind of wanted to have custom made kind of things as well. So that's why we decided to go for a cabinet maker as opposed to like, just a kitchen guy or kitchen company. We were like, if we go for the, one way, and then they can kind of do everything in the house so it all flows, it's quite a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last
been
point.
A good idea.
Do
Do you find the experts, such as your cabinet
maker?
Oh, cabinet maker. Yes,
Yeah.
we have found all of them. I think just by Google search, basically, and going and meeting with people, and sometimes it feels right, sometimes it doesn't. And whoever we've had meetings with that we really click with, we've just been like, yep, they get us, they know what we want. And yeah,
it's amazing that, like the actual
amazing what you can find
personal
on Google.
connection with
Yeah.
people. Like you get a gut feel. You go, these guys are going to be really good. Like Dean and the guys at DL cabinet making, doing our kitchen and that, they just clicked. They're awesome. Whereas some other places we went to, we just felt pretty let down.
Like, do you really want to help us?
Don't even like these guys. But yeah, I mean, obviously other experts, our builders, had a really good relationship with them from a long time ago from the block, so that was a no-brainer for us. There was existing people that had been involved in the subdivision before we bought the section, geotech guys, engineers, and all sorts of things. So
when you get a property file, you kind of get a list of people who've had something to do with your property. So we didn't have to find them as such, but for the other stuff, for our actual builds, we seem to find them all.
But probably,
thanks to Google.
Yeah. Probably, I'd recommend though that your builder's going to have existing relationships with a lot of his subcontractors, like tilers and jib stoppers and drainage guys and things like that. Leave that all to them, because they have that really good relationship, the connection, and they can, hopefully snap their fingers a little bit louder than you can, and get them on site when you need them, and do a few favours. So I definitely recommend that as well. Alrighty, I believe we're halfway now through these questions.
If you haven't tuned out already. What's the biggest mistake you have made?
Ooh. Ask us in 3 months' time.
Yeah. I don't think, we haven't really made any mistakes with what we've done so far, but that's because we don't really have the proof in the pudding. I think maybe once it goes up and when the walls are up, maybe we're like, oh, really should have had that on that side, or maybe this room should have been a little bit wider because it's too narrow through cabinetry, or
probably I don't know, it's a hard one. I think we're really lucky now that we're out of the ground. Any potential mistakes around where we've tried to locate the house, or because we are so close to the water, to the stream.
But that could have been a major potential failure, and it wasn't. So
lucky there, that could have been a mistake, but we sort of went through all the professional channels and got that sorted. But maybe back to my point before, is just a real tendency to try and get things hurried along, because you want to move in as fast as possible. And I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but there's definitely things that we could have been maybe a little bit slower around, which maybe in the long run might have been a little bit more efficient, but at this stage, no huge blunders. Touch wood.
Lots of wood.
Lots of wood. I'm getting pins and needles, and I entered my own passcode into my pink phone. You can answer one.
Building a house is stressful. How are you managing that stress? Biggest ups and lowest low. How have they affected your full experience in this process? It is stressful. Luckily, this is Mr. Calm over here who makes everyone feel relaxed.
That's good.
Well, it makes me feel relaxed because it is quite stressful. What would you say? How would you manage it?
I mean, it is definitely an all-in process. I mean, it's about 12 months since we bought the section, and pretty much
I didn't realise you had to be so patient.
Pretty much since then, I guess it's been, I wouldn't say 24/7, but you're thinking about it all the time, and you just really want things to go faster than they probably are.
Biggest low is probably the weather and how that can really push timings out, and if you miss something 1 week with a digger, they might not be available for the next 3 weeks, which happened to us. So yeah, it is like weather has definitely been a biggest low, but that's nothing we can do about, so that's fine.
No, and just you're really reliant on other people as well. We're pretty, good at planning, and do a lot of or work really hard to get the results and things we want to get. And then at some points you just got to hand things over to professionals, and there's been a few times where we've been let down, not by our builders or any other construction guys, but it's just it's just hard sometimes to let it go, and things could probably be faster. But anyway,
but they get there in the end.
They get there in the end.
And as soon as you see something coming out of the ground, it's just like, oh, so nice.
Ben, hey, are you doing the painting yourselves this time, or have you been put off forever after the block? Well, let me tell you, we are doing the painting.
Yeah.
And I'm roping in this one this time.
I've never painted in my life. I painted a canvas once, but I painted a rainbow.
And by all accounts, it was terrible.
That's about as skillful as I am. I think it's a huge cost. Like when we saw the estimated budget for painting a whole house, we were just like, oh my gosh, like surely we can do that ourselves. Maybe halfway through we might need to hire some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad.
With a new build it's a bit easier because it's not like you've got to put stuff down over the carpet, and we can actually usually use a, what's it called? Spray. Yeah,
we might do a bit of a spray gun, and we're not having too many architraves or things around our windows and that, so hopefully all going well.
Quicker.
It's going to be a lot faster. Going to do it ourselves. The outside, do a bit of
we have to stain the outside as well.
Oiling as well.
And Ben's going to make me practice on parts of the house where you can't see, apparently.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a painting detail fiend.
So I might be kicked off the job, and I won't care at all.
Here's another one that looks like it's directed at me. Do you miss having the wolf as your foreman? Foreman. Do you miss having the wolf as your foreman? Old Pete, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's on the job. I think he's definitely grown into his wolf-like status over the last couple of seasons. He wasn't maybe quite as ferocious when we did it. Although I was caught a few times walking around in my safety jandals, and I got told off for wearing them. But no,
I'm wearing heels. We don't get told off for wearing what we want. That's good.
Pete's a really good bloke, and that job I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
No.
But Ray and Garrick, our builders.
Is he our foreman?
Ray's basically the foreman. Yep.
We like him.
And Garrick, they're great blokes.
Yeah.
And
Dan.
Yeah, they work so hard, and really we get on well with them. So, Pete, mate, hope you're doing season 4. Look forward to seeing you again.
Just not on our section.
Just not on our section. Boom.
We're way more relaxed here.
Yeah, that one.
How do you compare this new home to the block? What did you copy? Did you copy this?
Obviously.
We're going to have quite a few shades of grey. That might be a bit of a copy. We both like grey. So.
Yeah, like a bit of grey. What do we copy?
Cedar?
But you
really like the cedar on your house, even though it was very small amounts.
But it sort of wasn't to that. I mean, obviously building a new home, completely different to renovating. Probably the main thing have, I guess, borrowed or copied is our layout in the living area is pretty similar to what we did in our house. Sort of kitchen along one wall, big island, and really open plan living and dining. So that'd be probably the main thing you'll maybe recognise.
And the big sliding door.
Yeah.
That's level.
Yeah, the big Fletcher windows and doors.
To go out to the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably it, is it?
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
so far. And used a lot of the suppliers that we used on the block. Can't knock
Good
their
relationships
quality.
to carry on. Do you recommend having everything decided on before you start, or is it okay, not too stressful, to sort some things as you go? We're very planned types of people, so for us we wanted to have everything planned because we wanted to know how much everything was going to cost before we even started. So for us it was important, I guess, for us to just decide on everything we wanted and kind of had a plan. But I guess you can go as you want. You just are then more likely to have moments when you're like, oh, can't believe how expensive that is, can't do that now. And
yeah, and I mean, when it comes to your structural side of things, I would very much recommend that you decide 100% on where you want all your rooms, all your plumbing, all of your walls, your windows, because you can't, I mean, for us, we can't really change it. We're prefabricating.
Yeah.
And there's not much margin or no real room to change. Traditional timber framing, yep, you can, but it's just going to take longer and cost you more. So I'd recommend plan as much as you can right from the start.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it's on a napkin or a Kylie and Ben dream home book.
Here we go, is another one. How have you allocated jobs so there is minimal tension at this stressful time?
Allocated jobs to us? I don't have any job. My job is to shop for the house and drag Ben along to look at the items.
I love interiors and shopping and things like that, but I guess at the moment a lot of my focus has been on more boring stuff like connecting the sewer pipes and setting out the stream and all the landscaping and helping the builders and things like that.
A lot of the allocated jobs though are now up to our builders. Like we don't have, like we had a big part when we were clearing out the section and
all the planning
building the
and
stream
stuff,
and so we just kind of did that together. It wasn't really like you do this, I do that. But then as soon as that comes out of the ground, it's the builder allocating people to do everything, which is quite nice.
Might change when we get inside and Kylie, that wall, that roof, whatever, or Ben, you do this one.
Ben, cook me some eggs. Alright, what are the 3 most surprising things you've learnt in this building process? You go first.
One thing's really surprised me is just how helpful people are when you go and ask them. You know, anyone from your neighbour to a random tradesperson who's happy to give you some professional advice. Right through to the council. So go and have a chat to people. It's just really surprising what they're going to happy to give up their time and chat if you've got a question. And
it can be embarrassing, but also asking like random people, oh, what colour is your joinery?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Where did you get that cedar cladding from?
Yeah.
Is really helpful. One for me would be how helpful it was to really kind of nut down those finer details so early on. Like people thought we were crazy to go around and research what kind of tapware. Oh, have you built your house? No, we haven't even started. But all those kind of things, like when you're suddenly told you need a fixed building contract for your building consent, it would be really overwhelming to have to start and think of all those things from scratch. Like we'd picked out our fridge and stove and everything, like so.
You mean for our mortgage, eh?
Yes. Yeah, fixed building, sorry, for the mortgage. You suddenly have to come up with everything, and it would have been really tough if we hadn't been doing those things along the way. So yeah, that was quite surprising that we were actually very smart in what we were doing.
Not nuts.
No.
And I don't know, maybe the other thing, just maybe how detailed your actual building consent plans have to be. Like
you can't do them yourself.
No, not a hope in
Ben's
hell.
a very good drawer, but you need to hire a draftsman.
You need a draftsman, an absolute minimum, architect, and they just they have to fine-tune things right, particularly around the waterproofing, around the connection details, and you need your structural engineer and things like that. So that just blew my mind how detailed these plans are, 30, 40 pages long.
It's amazing how many people are actually involved in the project as well.
Yeah.
There's so many people. Yeah. Last question. What's the best thing about building your dream house together? Has it made your relationship stronger?
Yes, of course it has.
Of course. The best thing is probably just deciding everything together rather than like, oh, do you like this house? No, I don't really like that. It's kind of like, what do you want in your kitchen? What do you want in this? And like, we've just been able to decide everything together. And luckily we decide on most things and agree on most things. Yeah, it's just nice having everything that's ours. It's not someone else's. We've designed it from scratch, and it's exactly what we've always wanted.
Right,
and luckily, those things have aligned.
Yeah, and right down to the finest detail. You know, it's going to be pretty cool in 10 years' time to look down on that stream and know that pretty much between Kylie and I and her parents and a few other people,
his girlfriend,
that we single-handedly moved every single rock, and you know, have been involved throughout each step of the way as different parts have gone into the house. But
and
also,
it's hard, but it's definitely, like, it does make you stronger, I guess, doing it all together. And
the thing that I really like the idea of is actually building a future together, like figuratively and literally. And you know, we're going to have this home for a very long time, and it's just a really nice feeling to, I guess it's a little bit manly, you know, hunter-gatherer sort of style, that you're actually, you know, constructing a home.
Yeah, it's
I'd love
kind
to be
of
doing it myself,
special.
but yeah, it's really special, and we're going to live in here for a long time. And
and it's exactly how we want it, and we've basically designed it from scratch, so it's all ours. And that's pretty special. That's like the first thing that we'll have together that's ours. So
it's very special.
Very exciting. Anyway, that's
Great
the end.
note to finish on.
You might not still be listening. But thank you so much for your questions again. It's really kind to have your support and know that you guys are really interested. And
thank you.
Thanks.
And I guess, as you can see, there's plenty left for us to do here, so we're going to get on and do a little bit more. And look forward to maybe seeing some of your responses to our responses. So thank you again, and we'll get on to it.
Bye.
See ya.